Why the late pivot here to the economy?
The White House is worried about the late-breaking issues of the economy and crime. I don't know where they've been.
Willie, the president's been talking about the economy and inflation all year long.
We're just waiting for a recession to happen. We had back-to-back GDP negative growth. We're treading water at this point. They don't want to talk about that. Now that they have reflexively flipped the conversation to the economy to try to fight back because abortion didn't work for them.
They're concerned about the economy. They don't think the Democrats are strong on the economy.
We are making progress on the economy.
What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and breaking news just coming out today that the United States gross domestic product, or GDP, has expanded by 2.6% in Q3 of this year, faster than expected. Wow. Let me know your thoughts, you guys. Now, you're going to be hearing the White House addressing this as they're saying that the economy is now their focus, getting things on track. And they're being asked, why is it now the focus right before the midterm elections? And they're saying, no, it's been the focus, and they're still going to be delivering on promises that are unfulfilled. Let me know your thoughts. Now, I've also got the conservative Republican perspective on this, and they're saying no, it's because they tried to promote abortion rights and all these other items, and they failed to get support from the American people. So now, right before the elections, there's going to be a whole lot of talk from the Democrats on the economy. Let me know your thoughts, you guys. We're going to be seeing what's unfolding. I'll let you know in my last video that we've been hearing a lot about Social Security increases and that this is going to be coming to fruition after the midterm elections. Also, child tax credits are going to be coming back. They've got support from Republicans and Democrats, and we're waiting to see what's going to be happening with a fourth federal level stimulus check. As I let you guys know in the last video, there's a lot of people saying it is going to be needed as we are entering into a recession and things are not looking good for our economy. And also, states, cities, counties, they are still tapping into excess funds left over, sending out checks to various people around the nation. And we're going to be seeing if that happens on a federal level with the excess funds that's left over, $500 billion to be exact. Now, I've got a lot of video footage that's coming out today, so I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. This is your breaking news, stimulus check update, stimulus package update. And do me a favor, before we dive in, smash that like button. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Hit the subscribe button to stay up to date. It's totally free. Any specific questions, shoot me a DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Please use caution here on YouTube. There's scammers. They take my picture, they claim they're me, and they tell you to contact them on WhatsApp. That is not me. I don't even have a WhatsApp, and I'll never ask you to wire me money, so please don't fall for that. Also, you guys, I've got a second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to help you out with learning about growing wealth and personal finance. And thank you for all the support on my kids' new channel, Liam and Naya. They've had a ton of fun with it. They've been, so excited. They love hopping on the lives with me, and now they just wanted to start their own channel. They're working on more content. So if you've got little ones, I hope you guys enjoy it. They are having a blast making those videos. And also, if you want access to the comprehensive list of every stimulus check in the nation, I've assembled one on a website with over 100 different checks across the nation for states, cities, counties at www.reliefroadmap.com. But with that being said, you guys, let's dive right in. And first, let's cover the breaking news coming out about the new report that the GDP has increased by over 2% this third quarter of 2022. And then also the perspective of the GOP members and how they're saying, no, the Biden administration, they're sweating right now because they're not doing too good in the polls. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.
Biden administration clearly is going all out on its push, with a closing message on the economy. These numbers won't hurt. Starting with President Biden, who's going to go to Syracuse, New York today. An administration official says Biden's major economic message will be reinforced by more than a half a dozen other administration officials who will also hold economic focused events today, including a major economic address in Ohio from Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. By tomorrow, officials will have made 77 trips to 29 states just this month, with more already planned. And with this latest breaking news in mind, let's bring in White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain. So the economy grew. That's good. But if you could, Ron, give us in the most basic terms what the Democratic message on the economy is, what you hope voters will take in these final days before the midterms.
Well, look, first of all, thanks for having me, Mika. And look, what you're going to hear the president say today is three big things about the economy. First, The economy, we are making progress on the economy. It's not just the GDP numbers you mentioned. The economy did grow. Inside that is a measure of price. It came down dramatically. We're seeing some easing on inflation. Inside that also is a measure about real incomes after inflation. That was negative last quarter, 2 quarters ago. It's positive in this new report. So incomes up, prices down, economic growth. And the thing that's most visible to people is what they're seeing with gas prices. You know, just 2 weeks ago, the most common pump price in America was $3.79. It's now down to $3.39. So our first message is we're seeing some improvements. Secondly, we know there's more work to do. Inflation remains the #1 economic challenge. The president's put measures in place to start to address that, to improve our progress on inflation, like the Inflation Reduction Act, which takes effect January 1st. We're just a few weeks away from that relief, like the actions he took yesterday on junk fees to bring down everyday costs. We know that's hurting people. We know it's squeezing people, and we're addressing that. And the third point he's going to make today is what's the choice here? What's the choice? Republican leaders in Congress have said that if they get control of the Congress, they're going to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act, cut taxes for corporations, raise the deficit. That'll make inflation worse. Get rid of the cap on prescription drug costs that takes effect on January 1st. Get rid of Medicare's ability to negotiate prescription drug costs. That's going to make inflation and everyday costs worse.
So how do you draw a line between how people are feeling about the economy, which if you've listened to voters over the past few weeks, whether it's through polling or talking to actual voters or focus groups, they're concerned about the economy. They don't think the Democrats are strong on the economy. They don't think that Democrats are strong on crime. How do you draw a line between the lives they're living today and the experiences they're experiencing and what you say is to come and the wins that have already been had by the Democrats?
Well, look, Mika, I think both are true. Look, I think that, as I said a minute ago, people are being squeezed by high prices. The cost of living squeeze on families has been with us for decades. It isn't solved yet. I do think we made some significant measures this year, which take effect next year, and we're going to talk about those. I do think also, I know some of the polling about the economy, I think is also out of date since some of those polls were taken. Again, the price of gas has come down dramatically. We're seeing economic growth. We're seeing prices come down. We're seeing real income go up. So I think we have to bring up to date the narrative to where it is today. But again, I think the most important thing I can emphasize here is that there is just a choice about where we go from here. Are we going to continue to do the things that will bring prices down next year, that will control inflation next year with the Inflation Reduction Act? Or will Republican leaders in Congress succeed in repealing all those things, helping big corporations, cutting taxes for big corporations, and seeing prices for consumers and families, seeing those prices go up? That's the real choice between where the Democrats are headed on the economy, where the Republican congressional leadership's headed on the economy.
Hey, Ron, good morning. Polls have suggested for a while now that inflation was top of mind, the economy top of mind for American voters. We've heard warnings from inside the Democratic Party and its allies, Bernie Sanders among them, saying, hey, Democrats need to be talking about the economy more. It can't always just be about abortion rights or threats to democracy. We need to talk about these pocketbook issues. And the White House has come under some criticism for moving slowly on this or getting it wrong. Last year, inflation was deemed transitory by many in the administration. It obviously was not. So my question is, why the late pivot here to the economy as the closing stretch? Why not make this argument a little earlier in the campaign season?
Willie, the president's been talking about the economy and inflation all year long. In fact, his signature economic achievement this year in August was a bill called the Inflation Reduction Act. So he's been out there fighting to bring down prices. He's been out there fighting to bring down the price of gas. It fell all summer. We had a little increase in early October. We're bringing it down again. He's been out there fighting to bring down the cost of prescription drugs. This is something he's been talking about all year long, and again, succeeded in getting a bill passed. So we are not coming to this economic argument late. We've been on this argument all year long. We're going to continue to be on this argument next year, too. The economy and inflation is a critical problem. The president's put forward measures to address it. We passed them through the Congress. For 30 years, people have been trying to get prescription drug prices under control. We got a bill passed to do it. the Republicans in Congress say if they win this election, they will repeal that provision. That's a clear difference. It's a clear choice.
So there you have it, you guys. That coming out today. The White House saying that they're good and they're focused on the economy and they're going to be taking care of business, getting us back on track. But let's take a look at the conservative perspective on this as well.
Well, it appears the White House is getting some pre-midterm jitters, finally. A new report from Politico details concerns among the president's inner circle. The outlet wrote this: despite public displays of confidence, and anxiety is growing within the White House and allied Democrats that Republicans will capture at least one chamber of Congress and possibly both. But even with those fears, President Joe Biden plans to remain largely on the sidelines during the race's final fortnight. On the sidelines and also silent, the president refusing to take questions and mocking the reporters asking them yesterday during an Oval Office meeting with Israel's president. His handlers taking that one step further, screaming back and shutting it down. I mean, Kellyanne, you and I both remember those moments, but there seems to be something else going on here. Nancy Cook, reporter, pointing out that the Biden White House seems particularly intent on the press not asking any questions 14 days ahead of the midterms, with White House aides screaming in the faces of reporters. I think that hits the nail on the head.
It does. It's a real affront, actually, to democracy. And you have the Democrats running around, including former President Obama, threats to democracy, American democracy is on the ballot. Yes, that's why we need debates, so people can access information for free and suss out and assess these candidates for themselves. And that's why we need a president, no matter who he or she is, to stand up and speak up and address basic questions from the Fourth Estate. Now, we both worked for President Trump, where he would spend an hour under wing or out on the lawn taking these questions, impromptu walking into the press briefing room or in the Oval Office. That wasn't everybody's cup of tea, as was Twitter. But guess what? It was a democratization of information. Everybody received presidential communication instantly and free of charge. We have the opposite now. And Kayla, I think that this indifference to and outright hostility towards the media is going to it's going to create a backlash among some smarter people in the media who have had enough. They believe the media are on their side. They think that the media are wearing team blue jerseys at all time and pushing for candidates like Fetterman or Warnock or Mandela Barnes. And you're not supposed to talk about all the problems you have with them. The White House is Joe Biden seems to be the last person in the country to realize that inflation, rising costs and rising crime are the number two issues. The USA Today Suffolk poll today says literally that they think upwards of 40% of Hispanics and 21% of African Americans may vote Republican. That's a USA Today poll.
That's huge. And Harris, to that point, this Politico article, which takes us behind the scenes in the West Wing, says the White House is worried about the late breaking issues of the economy and crime. I don't know where they've been, but we've been covering these, quote, late breaking issues since last year.
Well, it is interesting to see the president sort of struggle these last few days with where he fits in. And so he sits back and he tries to, he'll make fun of us. Making fun of the media doesn't exactly make you special. There are a lot of people who don't like us. But not being able to answer our questions might put him in kind of a special category. For instance, they want to tout certain segments of the economy right now. They want to go after particularly Kevin McCarthy on leading the Republicans on the issues of Social Security, Medicare, and crashing the economy. They don't want to wear what Moody's said today proves that we're treading in water. We're just waiting for a recession to happen. We had back-to-back GDP negative growth in two quarters 1 and 2. Third quarter, just a teeny little bit, or as the president likes to say, just inches. And so that puts us moving forward 0.4%. We're treading water at this point. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to be asked about that. But now that they have reflexively flipped the conversation to the economy to try to fight back because abortion didn't work for them, it's still down the list of things that Americans say are most important as they go to the polls. They can't really talk about the economy. And Saudi Arabia just said, and I quote the energy minister, we turned out to be the grown-ups in the room. Remember how Biden was saying that we, the Americans, were going to be the grown-ups? No, they decided to be the mature guys in the room and start cutting 2 million barrels of oil off the market a day. We're about to tap our home heating oil source right now to keep up with diesel. They don't want to talk about the economy, so he can mouth blah, blah, blah for the reporters. We can do that right back.
Yeah, people are suffering, Mark. I mean, that's the reality of this. And Biden, they've been hiding him away, Air Force One grounded, saying, oh, you could do other things, one of which was going to the DNC. He gave a 34-minute talk about his accomplishments. But pollsters have told him, Mr. President, show some empathy here. People are suffering, and no president wants to admit defeat or failure. Nevertheless, that would go a long way.
Yeah, and quite frankly, he's been completely oblivious to what voters really care about. And what they care about right now is inflation, crime, border, and that should be on the prompter with, end of quote, repeat the line underneath it, and he should go back and do it again without saying those two lines. And the fact that he's so oblivious, that's why they're running out this hide and Biden or Biden in the basement strategy, the same strategy they rolled out in 2020, which got him to where he is today. Because he is actually his own worst enemy right now. And he's toxic to the other Democrats who are trying to win their election right now.
Yeah, and what's interesting is Biden was obsessed with Trump, then he was obsessed with DeSantis. In this article, I've seen this twice. Apparently he's obsessed with Ron Johnson losing out in Wisconsin, who's ahead in Real Clear Politics by 3.3%. So it is funny, he rather than focusing on his job, tends to find these Republicans to obsess over.
Wow, so there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think is going to be happening in these upcoming midterm elections? We're getting word that a red wave is coming in the House of Representatives. They're almost pretty much saying it's done. It's a Republican House. They're just wondering by how much they're going to take it. And then we still have up for grabs the Senate. And we're going to be seeing what unfolds, you guys. Now, if the Republicans take full control of Congress, they're going to be pushing through their agenda items. If Democrats can maintain control, they're going to be continuing to push for their agenda items. But if we have a split, say a Republican House and a Democratic Senate, that could be very interesting. That could be very difficult to get legislation passed if we have two separate parties controlling each of those chambers. But we will see, and I will keep you up to date every step of the way, you guys. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far, you haven't already, don't forget, smash that like button for me. Helps out with the YouTube algorithm a ton. Any specific questions, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Check out the second channel, Steve Ram Finance. Check out my kids' channel, Liam and Naya. Hope that if you have little ones, they enjoy that. And also, you guys, www.reliefroadmap.com to get access to the comprehensive list of every stimulus check in the nation in one place that I assembled for you. But with that being said, you guys, hope this reaches you well, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.